Hello, I am the mindful social worker. I am a social worker trying to make sense out of social work. So, you guys, I wanted to come in and talk to us about avoid burnout as a social worker. Many of us are either there or been there. That is why you're at the video. So, I want to go ahead and say, hey, check out our Etsy shop, The Mindful Social Worker. We have stickers and printables for social workers. What is burnout? Okay, specifically job burnout. According to mayoclinic.org, job burnout is a special type of work-related stress, a state of physical or emotional exhaustion that also involves a sense of reduced accomplishment and loss of personal identity. Again, you're probably here because you've experienced it. If you've been in the social work field for years, like myself, you have experienced this at least once or twice. For those who are new to social work, believe me, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And this video is to help you to deal with it, whether you're on the side of a seasoned social worker or a brand new social worker. So what do we usually experience when we are burning out as social workers? We feel like it's too much work. Many of us feel like it's a never-ending to-do list. If you are a social worker, you know for a fact your list can get so long and you will only make a small dent in that list, and it feels like it is never-ending. You also experience unattainable expectations. That's on yourself that you put these expectations, as well as our upper management. Some of our supervisors, some of our upper management, they send down some very interesting, right? Some very interesting requests of us, and it starts to be something that is an expectation of us, but we are unable to attain it because we have so much to do. Also, when we are working with some of our clients, this brings up our own personal trauma within us, right? We're talking to clients, we're assisting clients, we're helping clients, and there are times where you are going to be personally triggered. Nothing to do with your client, but because what they are going through is very similar to what you know of or you've been through. So then your own personal trauma starts to lead to you having burnout. Then there's what we call vicarious trauma, right? Where it is, again, the trauma that your client is experiencing. You could have never experienced that trauma, but because you're so close to the situation with your client, you then get to having those traumatic symptoms that your client is having as well, again leading to burnout. So do me a favor, in the description below, if you have experienced a form of burnout, please tell me if any one of these things I just listed is a way you experience burnout, or share with us if there's anything that I did not share as your reason for actually experiencing burnout. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest you to do is set boundaries. First things first, let's have a private conversation on a very public platform, okay? The first thing I'm going to suggest is to share with your upper management, and I know that sounds scary and I know that sounds strange. More scary than strange. It's scary because many times you get a stigma when you share to your upper management that you feel burnt out, right? They might think you are unable to do your job. They might think that maybe this task is no longer for you, and they might even think that you plan to take a leave of absence because you've merely shared that you are experiencing or feel like you're experiencing burnout. But it is in your best interest to share with your upper management that you do feel like you're burning out, so that anything that they can pull from you, they will, right? Then the next thing you could do to set boundaries is say no. I know when your big boss, your upper management, your director, your your big boss, your superiors ask you to do something, many of us tend to say yes, but we have to get in the habit of saying no. Why? Not because you're not willing to take on a new task, but because anything else on your plate will cause you to explode. Okay, so you have to learn when to say no, right? The next thing is accept only what tasks are yours. A lot of times, again, upper management, supervision, even your coworkers are going to ask you to do things that belong to other people. If you have too much on your plate, only accept what is yours, learn to say no, and all fails, share with upper management that you are feeling burnt out. Okay? And I already said it, only take on what you can handle. That goes with accept what's yours. Don't take on any more than what you know you can handle. If you have a report that's due, a client to see, as well as a referral to submit, please do not take on anything more than you can handle, because you must take care of your tasks first. I know many of us want to be people pleasers, and many of us want to be seen doing the right thing by the right person, which is absolutely understandable. But if you know that this is going to lead you to burnout, you need to learn to say no and set boundaries. Okay, so boundaries is number one. The next thing that we need to do is seek help. Again, I'm the social worker, okay? Many times we suggest all these services and community-based agencies to families. Well, guess what? We need to indulge in some of those same things before we burn out. And if you're in the middle of it, you need to latch onto one of these things. So therapy. If you need therapy and you need to get out some things that only a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist can understand, definitely do that. Some of our personal expressions may not need a therapist. It could just need coaching. You can find a coach one-on-one, somebody that can understand you, somebody that can listen to you, and just somebody that you can vent to, right? You can also find a support group. I love support groups. Some employers have support groups, have support meetings, and if you don't know one, find one. And if it all comes down to it, vent to another social worker. Now, of course, venting to another social worker, you have to be careful with this. Of course, it needs to be a social worker that you trust. And what I'm really saying be careful about is draw the line where you're going to vent, because you do not want to go to work, have burnout on your mind, leave work, get on the phone with your coworker, and only talk about work. That is going to add to your burnout, because at that point you start to feel like work is following you everywhere. And many of us do not know how to leave work at work, especially in this time of where many of us are working at home. So it's hard to leave work at work in your home. But definitely find some sort of help that can get you through the burnout. Next thing is definitely work out. Working out is an option, and I chose workout, and I know a lot of people say, oh, go to the gym. But it doesn't have to be just the gym. You can go walking on my cell phone, my work phone. I actually have an alarm that goes off at 10:07, and that alarms me to take a walk. Even if it's just 15 minutes, it gets the heart pumping, it can relieve stress, it can give you an opportunity to just get out and not worry about work. So walking, go to a gym, be a part of a group exercise group. You can purchase a program online. There's all types of programs that you can purchase online, or there's all types of programs that you can see here on YouTube. And you can do at-home workouts, so that can include DVDs, that can include YouTube, as well as purchasing some type of equipment, right? The next thing that many of us need to do, right? Everybody likes to brag. Correction, let me not say everybody. Many people like to brag about how many self-care vacation hours they have saved. Newsflash, social worker, you are to use your days off. You are to use your vacation time. You are to use your self-care, and I'm doing this with air quotes, self-care days. I don't care how you use it. One day, half a day, vacation days, or maybe even seeing if you can work out some type of specialized schedule where you get one day in the week, it's actually your off day, right? There's different places. You can probably work more hours on one day, less hours on one day, so you can have that alternate day if it's available. But I definitely think you need to incorporate more breaks if you are burning out. One day off is not going to break the bank for you at work. Here's why. Many of our caseloads are individualized, meaning even if you take today off, that case will still be there waiting for you to work on it tomorrow. That's not to say that in a negative way. What I mean is, many of us think staying and working every single day means we'll stay caught up. No, what that means is that will still be your case, whether you take off today, whether you take off next week, or whether you take off half a day. That case will still be yours, and it will still be there waiting for you to work on it. But take the time that you need if you are on the verge or you are in the middle of a burnout, okay? Also, Also, the next thing that you need to do is take care. Many times we advocate for our clients to go to their doctor, go to their dentist, go to see their eye doctor, go to a chiropractor, go to a dietitian, all these things. But a lot of times we do not take those same precautions and approach for ourselves. So just take care overall. Go to your doctor, go to your dentist, go to your eye appointments. If you need to see a chiropractor, if you need to talk to a dietitian, these are things that will help you avoid burnout, because you are no good to nobody if you are not good to yourself, right? So definitely take care. And the last but not least, and I just want to be honest here, if you are burning out more frequently, it is time to change, right? My mentor has shared with me that it is rule of thumb to only work a position for 2 to 3 years max. By that time, it is time for a new position, right? Many of us have different titles. We are still social workers, but there's different titles, there's different functions to many social work positions. It might be your time to change, and that could just be stay within your current employer, right? But change the position if you have the opportunity. The next thing is, if you are just having a hard time with the current employment environment that you are in, it might be time to swap a complete new employer. Now, I want you to be careful with that one, because a lot of people tend to think just because they go to a new employer that they are going to have some type of new outlook on being a social worker. And many times it really happens to be about you and how you handle stress and how you're handling everything that's coming at you. So even if you go to a new employer, be wise that you might be jumping from one hot situation to another hot situation, because you will be taking you with you, and you have to get certain things taken care of first before you can move on to a new position. The next thing you can also do is, it might be time for you to go independent, right? I'm not an advocate to just drop and leave your job. If that's what you want to do, hey, that's your decision. But to incorporate something where you can do independent, especially if you're a clinical social worker, you can start seeing clients one-on-one. You can start going to certain agencies and seeing if they need your service. Now, that's a little twofold, because it's like, well, that's adding more onto your plate. However, it's giving you the opportunity to do something in social work on your own, right? So it will give you a new outlook on social work in general. And the last thing is, learn something new in the field. Again, many of us burn out because we are doing the same thing day in, day out for the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It might be time to learn something new and get you some change. So you guys, I hope this was helpful. I definitely want to share with you, from one social worker to another, how to avoid burnout. I know me personally, myself, I have burnt out so far twice as a social worker. And what has helped me so much is the one that I shared with you guys, which is about taking a break. I learned that the work will still be there waiting for you. So it's no point of getting overwhelmed and stuck in it, because whether you take 1 day off or 2 days off, the work will still be there for you to do. And if you come back, you'll be on what me and my coworker like to call a fresh leg. Fresh leg usually means you're amped, you're ready to go, you're looking at this with brand new lens, with a brand new eyes, because you had an opportunity to take a break. So you guys, I hope this was helpful, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Bye, you guys.